Hey guys, welcome to a new blogging video. I wanted to make today's video to just be 100% honest with you guys. I don't use Quillbot for my blogs. Just to put things into perspective, if you're listening to this and you're a new blogger and you're not really you're not sure what I'm talking about, there's a strategy that people use to take data from GPT, paste it into Quillbot, have it reworded, and then they put it on their website. And the reality is that Google is a lot smarter than that. Quillbot is not going to be your quintessential cornerstone for your business. This place does not come from an area of intelligence. No offense to anybody who's using it. If you're using Quillbot, you have to think logically as to what Quillbot does. It replaces words for you. When GPT creates a solution for you, it has the ability to fix itself in real time and make it undetectable. If you're familiar with this whole Quillbot strategy, there was somebody on YouTube, a big YouTuber, who created a guide as to how to make your content undetectable with AI. And essentially, what they would do is they would go to GPT, give it a prompt to write a paragraph, for example, and they would take that paragraph, they would paste it in Quillbot with some basic changes, and they would have certain words reworded through synonyms. So, for example, if I had the sentence, I love to work out, right? And I put it in Quillbot, what it would say is, I enjoy to work out, or I enjoy working out. That is, obviously it does change the tense and past tense, present tense, etc. But that's essentially in a synopsis as to what it does. Okay, it does a little more, more advanced things, but that's essentially what it does. Google has the content to be able to understand where this content originally came from, not by changing the words, but through the phrasing, and it looks at the overall piece of content. Okay, so two things you want to keep in mind. I don't use Quillbot because I can allow GPT, based on my prompting, to fix that aspect for me. A good example of this is when I was creating one of the blogs. I think it was on howtoboosttestosterone.org. This was recent too, howtoboosttestosterone.org. I forget which article it was, but there was an article where I said, rephrase this, and it was a paragraph that was written in GPT, and I told it, rephrase this for me in the first person. And basically what it did, it took the content and it rephrased it in first person view. When it did that, what happened is that I repasted it into detection AI, right? It's the thing that detects if it's a bot or a human or whatever. And at one point, it went from 99% written by AI, and then it said 1% written by AI. Why do you think it had that change? It was just because of the tonality, because of the structure, because of things like that within the GPT that you can prompt it. So before you invest in Quillbot, which I'm totally not against, and I'll explain, I love spending money on software. I love it. More importantly, I need it for my business. I have to have tax deductions, right? Because if I just keep making money and I don't spend money, I'm going to be giving that money to the IRS. But the IRS has a great code where I can spend money on softwares and products that help my business, and I get to deduct them. Any kind of person would agree that I would be very pro spending money. I'm very pro spending money when it comes down to business. I want to. In fact, I'm looking for more things to spend money on. I don't have enough to spend money on, right? I'm looking to buy more things for my business. But the problem is that Quillbot does not solve this solution, okay? Even if you're using it for free, it doesn't solve your solution. It doesn't provide you any aid. Do the logical thing, use GPT, and ask GPT to reformat it in a way that's undetectable. You have to explain to GPT what is this undetectable nature, okay? And I'll actually show you a little trick within Rocket Web Builder to make sure this happens. Let me go ahead and pause the screen real quick, and I'll show you what I mean. All right, guys, so I'm in GPT, and I'm also in Rocket Web Builder, right, where I'm using the website builder to create my blogs. Let's go ahead and head over to my blog section, which is right here. So I'll click on this blog, and I'll click on any one of these blogs. It doesn't really matter which one. Let's just say this one, okay? And then what I'm going to have here, actually, you know what? Let's go over to this one instead. This one's a better option because this is a newer blog post that hadn't been created yet, all right? I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to click container, okay? And this is a blog showing people a testosterone boosting workout plan. All right. And then what I'm going to go over here is I'm going to tell the AI to generate me text on basically essentially provide me with a first-person narrative or first-person point of view for how to work out, why it's important to boost your testosterone as an athlete. Let's just go ahead and do that. So I'm going to write here, and I'm going to say provide me a first-person point of view from a gym bro. Let's go ahead and do this. From a gym bro, why lifting helps you boost your testosterone. I know it's not the same thing as what I originally said, but I switched it up a little bit, okay? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this and hit submit. The reason why I'm copying it is because I just want to put into perspective, guys, that you could do this exact same thing with GPT. If for some reason you're not using Rocket Web Builder to build your website, which, by the way, you absolutely should, you're missing out. I'm not saying that from an advertising perspective. I'm saying that from a realistic, financial perspective. I'll make a video on that in the future, but for now, like I said, you could go ahead and take the same thing and hit send. It uses the same technology. All right. So here you could see there's this information. It says, as a dedicated gym bro, I'm constantly striving to improve my physique and fitness levels. One of the key benefits, etc. So I could take this and I could reformat it. So let's say you get this answer, which this is pretty much the same, right? From GPT. What you're going to do is then you're going to reprompt it and you're going to tell that make this sound more in the first person tone with a more simple tone, something like that. Well, here on GPT, this is what the GPT people are going to do. If you're on Rocket Web Builder, you're going to jump over here, you're going to highlight your text, and you're going to go over here to this button, and that shows tones. So this little settings button shows different tones. I can select what tone I want. So let's say I want friendly tone. I could go ahead and select that, and it will provide me a revision of everything that's written, essentially rewritten with the new tone. And the new tone is, let's just say, friendly, right? And boom, it has that for me. It's provided that for me. And so read what it says. It says, as someone who loves hitting the gym, I'm always striving to get better myself and my fitness levels. Lifting weights has been a game changer for me, as I've noticed significant increase in my testosterone levels. For those who don't know, testosterone is a hormone responsible. All right, so etc. So you guys see what it does here. It switches up the nature of the context. And to put things into perspective, Google actually doesn't know if it's written by AI or if it's written by humans, right? Off of the content. What it looks for is the phrasing, and it looks for patterns in the content. That's what it looks for. It looks for patterns. So what you're doing when you tell GPT to make it sound more in the professional or more first person tone with a simple tone or whatever it might be, you're breaking the pattern in the blog post. And you have to understand that when you take a small portion of your blog, so let's just say it's a paragraph, and you paste it into a classifier, like a GPT classifier, like an offset, like a third-party version, like Undetectable or Detectable AI, whatever, any of these different ones, what you're doing is you're giving it a percentage of your article. Google doesn't look at a percentage of your article. Google looks at the whole entire thing. I can take an article purely written by GPT without reformatting it with my tone or anything like that, right? And paste it into my website in a proper way that will trip off the AI detection systems. Why? It's because it has to do with the structure and the pattern of how it was detected. So once again, if you're going to walk away with anything from this video, understand that AI detection systems don't detect off the written word. What they detect off is the pattern of how it was written, okay? The pattern of how it was written. If you guys have ever seen videos of people figuring out if, those text-to-voice generators that are out there, how they detect if it's either a human or a robot, they look at the tonality, they look at the phrasing, right? They look at the inflections in the voice. The AI does the same thing, but through written art, right? And basically what it does is it just looks at how the content is being phrased, okay, over and over and over again. And there's a certain kind of pace the content has. When you tell GPT to rewrite it for you in a certain tone, or you prompt it a certain way, what it's going to do is it's going to break that pattern behavior, and it's going to change the pattern completely. And once again, remember that the content that you create on your website is not judged off of a small portion, but it's judged off of the whole complete thing. All right. So that's the most important thing to understand, because when you add things like images, when you add the readability, by the way, I created a video on the YouTube channel about how to improve readability for your blog. When you add these things in, right, when you add the different widgets in, when you promote your product, now all of a sudden it becomes less AI driven, more human like. So when you create your blog, don't fully rely on these different apps that predict this kind of stuff. And also don't use Quillbot. No offense, you're just shooting yourself in the foot. You're making believe that your AI is going to, or your article written by AI is going to be any better. It's not. It's not actually fixing the pace of that article, the way it was written. If you want me to go deeper on this, I don't mind doing so. But once again, readability is very important for your article. All these different features are very, very important, and they help impact how your article is being viewed by Google. And keep in mind, Google, right, is providing pretty much all data for OpenAI. OpenAI, who creates GPT, right, is providing this data to GPT by Google. Now, they're not willingly do that, but what they're doing is OpenAI is scraping data from the web to be able to make this happen, right? And so they're looking at the top search results within Google to be able to determine a result on what's the best answer, right? And it compares in real time. So what I'm trying to say here is that there's really, Google is not going to be able to tell the difference between the content, but they'll be able to tell the difference between the spacing. So for example, if there was one article that was written fully by AI that tells people that working out 3 times a day is better for testosterone growth, or improvement rather, testosterone level improvement, and I write manually an article that improving levels of testosterone can be improved by, let's just say, working out 3 times a week, we're writing the same information. I'm not going to get penalized for that. What I'm going to get penalized for is if the pace of my article is stagnant. It's the same over and over and over. And once again, a good way to break that is when you have GPT, tell it to make something sound in the first person tone, change up the tone, reword this, etc. Now, if you're using GPT, you could do this right into GPT. If you're using Rocket Web Builder, you could do it right into Rocket Web Builder at no extra cost. You can change the text here, the AI, you have improve, expand, shorten, generate text, and improve the tonality. So keep in mind with all these things, all right? Hopefully this video helps you guys out. I'll see you guys soon. Peace out, bye.